Welcome back to a Monday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline going to be open in just a bit. Right now, we're going to go to the hotline, the said MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, where we bring in Valley native and a member of the St. Louis Cardinals Media Relations Department, Canfield grad Chris Tunno, joining us on the hotline. Chris, what's going on, brother?
Oh, not much, Ron. We're just trying to get through a Major League Baseball season.
A shortened season at best, and man, a lot of stuff going on. The Cardinals losing a few games, not in the loss column, but losing a few games in the column of you're not allowed to play because you guys have COVID. What is going on, and where was the genesis of the COVID outbreak for the Cardinals, Chris?
Well, as far as I know, and to let you know right now that, a lot of this stuff is kept close to the vest with the HIPAA laws and how much information they want to get out there. Obviously, players have the right to tell whether or not they want information released, or staff members. And we just ran into a couple players who tested positive when we got into Milwaukee from when we were in Minnesota. So they canceled Friday's game, and then we were supposed to play a game on Saturday and then a doubleheader Sunday to finish the series to make it up. And there were a few more reported positives. I believe one player, 3 staff members was what was reported. And then at that point, they just canceled Saturday and then subsequently Sunday. The schedule was supposed to push on to Detroit, where we were going to go play 2 games against the Tigers and then 2 back in St. Louis in Major League Baseball. Rescheduled us where they were going to cancel Monday, which is today, and our travel day to Detroit, make that a travel day, and then we play 1 game on Tuesday, a doubleheader of 2 7-inning games on Wednesday, and then 1 on Thursday, in which the Tigers will be 2 home games and we will have 2 home games.
All right, Chris Tunno in the Media Relations Department of the St. Louis Cardinals joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Chris, how many players now currently have tested positive for COVID, and do you expect the numbers to climb to the height of the Marlins problems right now?
Well, gosh, I hope not, and I think everybody feels that way because it doesn't just affect one team. Because if you're the team on the road, another team's going to have to occupy that clubhouse. You're dealing with hotels that now have to deal with it if you're on the road, and as well as any team you come in contact with. As far as a specific number, I don't have that information. I probably couldn't give it to you. Our general manager wouldn't want me to at that point. All I know is that if it's one too many at this point.
There have been other teams that have had players, test positive. They go on the injured list. They keep playing. Was it the timing of these test results that caused the Cardinals games to stop, and it was the fact that they happened right when you got into Milwaukee? Was that what kind of caused the stop to your schedule? Because it wasn't a massive, overhaul of positive tests, but it was just the timing of it. Is that what kind of caused the stall in the schedule?
Well, I know this. We went into Milwaukee lining up really good against the Brewers because we had Jack Flaherty and Adam Wainwright going up against them, who've been 2 of our best pitchers against the Brewers. So that really hurt us at the time. But when it comes to the safety, you just have to take all precautions. And I think that's where our organization, as well as Major League Baseball, wanted to go. I know when we were in St. Louis through summer camp, we went overboard as far as taking all precautions necessary. Major League Baseball, I'm not sure how much you guys know about the tier system of credentials.
No, that's educate us on this one.
Okay, so essentially Major League Baseball came back with 3 tiers of credentials. Tier 1 is your players, your field staff, and anybody who is on the field. Tier 2 is your media relations and your front office staff, clubhouse staff, traveling secretary. The Tier 1, you get 87. Tier 2, you get 38. And that's not just for your home site. That's your alternate training site. I'm not exactly where Cleveland's is. It might be Akron or Lake County.
Yeah, it's Lake County. Lake County
Okay.
is their site, yes.
Ours is Springfield, Missouri. So we have people there. And then Tier 3 is the media, which would be like you. and other essential staff members who have to work on a game day, which I fall into. I was marked tier 3, where I don't have any contact with tier 1. I do not have any contacts with the players or the traveling staff, but I do have contact with our other PR people. So I'm working on game notes, credentials, and I run the press box on game day. So I'm working with the media, but I'm also filtering stuff through. Now, in regards to that, when I go in every day, I have to get my temperature taken. They scan my credential, and I have to go through a list of about 11 checkpoints that every day I have to click on this app, verifying that I have not had a temperature of this, I've not come into contact, I've not had shortness of breath, stuff like that that would make you a COVID target. So at that point, once I clear that, I get to go in. Anytime I leave the stadium, got to go through it again. So for the most part, they don't want you at the stadium unless you have to be there and have an essential duty. And then when you don't, get out and go home. And then use common sense when you're outside, wear masks, use hand sanitizer, don't go into crowds of people, that kind of stuff.
Chris, bring us through a typical home game these days for the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, you guys only played 5 games, but what is the protocol for dealing with the members of the media? Are they sitting well past 6 feet of each other? How do you guys go through with members of the media covering the games in St. Louis?
Okay, so on a given day, I will get there usually 5 to 6 hours before first pitch, and I will start doing the game notes, and I will approve the credentials for the people who are getting into the stadium, which is the media. The broadcasters, television people, they have an entire different set. So we open the gates to our media 4 hours before. This allows the media to go up to the press box. Our press box normally seats 96, but now we've knocked that down to 32 socially distanced spots. So everybody's got 6 feet between them. And at that point, the media is allowed to set up, and they will have time to call into our Zoom calls. Now, each team in Major League Baseball has to provide what's known as what we call it a Zoom room, because Zoom's the program that we use, and then the coordinates for that Zoom room will be text, email, whichever. It will be communicated to the writers, whoever's also in the stadium, or you could be off-site. We have one post-dispatch columnist that his wife's pregnant, and he does not want to be anywhere near that, so he's calling in from home. And at that point, we will have a pregame. We'll have our manager available, and usually the next day's starter and one player. And while that's going on, I will move from my office down to the credential window, and I'll give out the credentials to the media as they're coming in. And the media will be able to call into the Zoom room, and they will be able to interview. Now, these Zoom rooms are down next to the clubhouses, home and visitor. And then at that point, the PR people who are tier 2 will be able to take the player and or coach to the locker room and to the Zoom room. After they play the game, we will have the coach and any player who was a very important part of that, as well as the starting pitcher. We make them available, and this will be going on. So it's that's really where we go. During the game, I close up the window, and if we have to bring a credential down to somebody, we can. And then I'll run the press box announcing pitching lines, warming up pitchers, statistics, and we will provide all of our information via our press box site, which is online, allowing media to check in. We do not print anything out for our media anymore.
It's tough in a lot of ways for a everyday beat reporter, and St. Louis. I have said this way too many times, and it's the absolute truth. St. Louis is the best baseball city in all of Major League Baseball. It is a fantastic city. They love their baseball. They love their Cardinals. And for the folks that write stuff for the Post-Dispatch, which is the newspaper in St. Louis, I feel bad for all of the beat reporters, because their job is not only to cover the team, but to do some human interest story. And I guess my question is, in a 60-game season in which the media has hardly any relationship whatsoever except for the manager and the star of the game in Zoom, let's say someone wants to do a human interest story on Yadier Molina. Is Molina available for that beat reporter if that beat reporter comes up to you and says, hey, I want to do a human interest story or a good piece on Yadier Molina? Am I able to get him via Zoom to do this?
Ron, that's a great question and a great point. And that part of the game has really been diminished. Before, when you had clubhouse access, you could have a writer go in and they could talk to the player, either through a pre-existing relationship or setting up an interview. Now we don't have that. If a player goes on camera, they're there for all the media, whether it's 10 or 50. You don't have that one-on-one time that you could have with a coach or a player. Now your Hall of Fame writer, like we have Rick Hummel in St. Louis, he was very good at getting that kind of stuff, and he could work a clubhouse and get 6 people to talk about one person, including the subject, and he would write a great article about it. Hummel was great. That's why he's in Cooperstown. Now, unless you have a pre-existing relationship with a player and their contact information, like a phone number, or you have an agent of a player who's willing to put them out there one-on-one, you're probably not going to get that anymore, and it's definitely affecting the game, and you can tell. The ones who do have the pre-existing relationships or national writers who have that, they're the ones who are getting ahead, and it shows.
So this is such a fluid situation with the COVID-19, the protocols. Have any protocols changed since opening day, or have morphed into something else since opening day, since so much has happened in the last week and a half?
Protocols have changed? No. That's a great point, though, that you made in terminology by saying it's a fluid situation, because it is. I mean, it changes every day, and we try to keep our media informed as best as possible. We try to schedule if we don't have a game like we've had the last couple of days, we brought our president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, on Saturday night at 7 o'clock just to clear things up, because eventually you're going to get questions. And I talked to, I would say, about 9-10 national writers on a given day via text, and telling them, we don't know anything. We can't release anything. I'm not with the team. There's not much I can do at this time. Now, granted, most of it's people saying, are you okay? But as far as your terminology of fluid situation, it is, because you don't know what's coming next. Have we changed anything in protocols as far as how we do things? Not at this time, other than when we kept the team in the hotel for 3 straight days.
Chris Tunno with the Media Relations Department with the St. Louis Cardinals, joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Chris, a couple more things before we let you go. Obviously, the Cardinals are one of the more supported baseball teams throughout Major League Baseball. They're consistently in the top 5 year after year in attendance, and having lived an hour and change away from St. Louis and gone to a number of Cardinals games, I can attest to the just great relationship that the fan base has with the baseball team. How weird and eerie is it for you to see an empty Busch Stadium whenever the Cardinals are playing games at home?
It's very strange, but of course we have Ballpark Village across the street, and they've made some seating areas like bar tops where the people can actually sit up there and watch the game. Now, granted, they're 600 feet away from home plate, but they have that opportunity to purchase tickets up there at the restaurant. And I noticed Wrigley Field rooftops have that for the Cubs. So you have a few teams that are able to get a little bit of baseball in there. But, yeah, it's very difficult. You have a fan base who lives their summers with Cardinals baseball. And we also have a very good fan base with the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues, and they're playing in front of no people now, and they're bubble up in Canada. And I know the fan base really wanted to get involved in that too. I mean, they had a really good run last year, and I never saw St. Louis like that. Primarily, usually a baseball town, but it became a hockey town real fast.
Chris, before we let you go, obviously, Major League Baseball, 60-game season. The commissioner wanted a bubble similar to what the NHL and the NBA are doing. The Players Association said no. Do we expect more outbreaks between now and the end of the season, or is this going to be it and everyone minds their P's and Q's in the hotel, stays in the hotel, and everyone gets a little bit more educated when it comes to dealing with COVID?
I think what happened in the first 2 weekends was a very good sign to everybody to stay in your hotel, be careful, don't go out. If that happens, you're going to miss games. You're going to end up playing double headers. We could be getting closer to that point where it does get shut down. And I think that's scary enough for the players because they want to play a season. They want to get paid. They want to play the game, and they seem to be enjoying it. You look at it. It's a kid's game. They're still acting like kids out there. They're having fun. It's just I honestly feel that if they can get this season in, it will be a victory, and then you can restart. Will there be other cases? Based on just the numbers, I don't know how it can't. You hope it doesn't, but you got to imagine that something somewhere is going to sneak in. You hear stories about people who said, from day one, I've quarantined, I haven't gone outside, I haven't been, and I still got it. So nobody really knows how much access this virus can have. Obviously, a bubble would be a great thing, but based on how baseball is, it's going to be very difficult. Even if you were in Florida or Arizona, there's still a lot of space, a lot of hotels that you have to take care of to get those players. Our travel party is 58. That's a lot of people that you're moving from city to city. And you just look at it, and it's hard to tell players to stay inside and just not do anything, although on Twitter, Adam Wainwright kind of put up a little golf trick shot video on his, which was very entertaining this week. But you can't expect the guys to just do that the whole time. They need to play. They need to get out there. And even if it's in front of no fans, it's good for the game. That's really as much as I can say.
Hey, both of us have been in minor league baseball. How about this for a blast from the past with Manfred saying, hey, by the way, the doubleheaders are now going to be 7 innings. First thing that came into my mind was, good Lord, we're back to doing minor league baseball stuff. And I don't have a problem with 7-inning doubleheaders. It's been that way in minor league baseball forever and a day. Now, the extra inning rules I'm not too thrilled with. I understand why they're doing it, but the 7-inning rule, hey, the kids that went through the minor leagues, that are major leaguers now, they experienced it in the minor leagues. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I'm very much a traditionalist as far as baseball, so I like to see pitchers hitting. I think you should earn your way on an extra innings, especially if a team's got a bullpen set that mops right through it. 7-inning games, yeah, I'd rather see 9, but you look at a guy like Trevor Bauer, he probably was mouth-watering to throw 7 innings for a shutout yesterday. But I was telling a friend of mine the other day, I used to umpire fast-pitch softball, and one of the reasons why that rule is very effective in that sport is the fact that all the girls there know how to bunt, and it's a very big part of their game. So moving a runner over, knocking it in, it's a very big part of their game, where there are guys in Major League Baseball with 40, 48 home runs. You're not going to say, hey, move the runner over. They're there to say, no, I can hit him in. I can knock him in. Let's go for the big inning. So I don't know. We'll just have to get through this season, count it for what it is, and hope that next year everything's back to normal.
Hey, hopefully,
whatever that is.
Hopefully you guys catch fire as soon as you start playing again. Catch fire, catch the Cubs, win the Central Division, and make a deep run in the postseason.
Yeah. Well, having expanded playoff teams kind of will help that. That'll be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, no doubt, and it'll be a lot of fun. The best of 3. If you're stacked in the top of the rotation, you should be in a pretty good position to win a best of 3 series. And Lord knows, Flaherty and Wainwright, those are 2 pretty good pitchers. So if the Cardinals get into the field of 8 in the National League, first round shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, yeah, Jack's a great big game pitcher.
Oh, my
Waino's
goodness.
been there. But, I watched that Cleveland game the other night where Bieber just mowed through the Twins. They couldn't hit it and they couldn't lay off it. I think Cleveland's got a really good setup for a 3-game series.
Yeah, the only problem is Cleveland doesn't know how to hit the ball yet. And I don't know if you saw the social media thing. I threw out a Canfield Fair reference. I said, Tribe offense, please report to the Big Rock. Your pitching staff is waiting.
Hey, maybe it was just a rough 3 games for him. Who knows? Well, may things change in Cincinnati.
Hey, brother, always appreciated, and good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully you guys play baseball as soon as possible.
Thanks, Ron. It was a pleasure being on. Take care,
you got
everybody.
it. Chris Tunno from the Media Relations Department with the St. Louis Cardinals.